Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a yoga practice for the sacral chakra. So last week I had a video where I went into detail on what this energy center is all about. So I'll put a link to that in the description down below. Again, you don't need to have watched that to do today's practice, but it will give you a deeper insight into the energy of the sacral chakra. I have a guest for the intro. You coming up? So just as a little overview, the sacral chakra is located in the lower abdomen, the lower back, and in the pelvis. So we're going to be working on opening these areas. We're going to be working on opening through the hip space, as this is also really important for allowing the energy to flow through the sacral chakra. And the element associated with this energy center is water, so it's a very fluid type energy. So in today's practice, what I really want us to focus on is tapping into that fluid nature and just kind of moving how it feels good for our body and not being super rigid in our practice and kind of just going with the flow. And I'll guide you through some ways we can do this through our practice so that that makes more sense. For today's class, if you do have 2 yoga blocks for a pose in the beginning of practice, bring them over. If you don't, no worries, I'll offer you another option without. And with all that said, we're going to start today's practice laying on our backs. So we're going to start laying on our backs in a Supta Baddha Konasana, so a butterfly pose. Option to use the blocks. So you're going to start laying down, knees and feet together, and then let the knees fall out to the sides, and you could support yourself with the blocks. You could do this without, or you could just lay in a traditional, more like Shavasana position to start. Whatever position you decide to take, just place your hands on your abdomen, the lower part of the abdomen. And just tune into your breath, settling in here, eyes closed, connecting within. And go ahead and set an intention for your practice. This can be any intention that you feel drawn to, but if you would like some suggestions on some intentions that would relate to the sacral chakra, you could work with something like, I invite change and flow into my life. Maybe I welcome my emotions, or I embrace my creative nature. These are some suggestions that would relate nicely to the energy of the sacral chakra, but you can really work with whatever. So just sealing your intention in your mind's eye. Connecting with your breath here. Bringing your awareness to the present moment. To being here on your mat for your yoga practice. Take one more breath here. If you have the blocks, go ahead and move them out of the way. And everyone go ahead and bend both knees. And bring the legs together, okay? Hands are down at your sides. From here, allow the legs to fall out into Baddha Konasana, so the knees fall apart, and then you're going to bring the legs back in together, okay? It looks like a simple motion, but I really want to make this active. So what we're going to do is 1, connect the breath with the movement, and 2, when you bring the legs back in, so when they're in butterfly and you're bringing them back together, really think about using the muscles of your lower abdomen, okay? So actually everyone go ahead and place your hands on the lower abdomen while we do this. Okay, so on an inhale breath, allow the legs to fall out to the sides, and they don't need to go all the way. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale out. Exhale, pull those abs in as you move the legs in. Inhale, legs fall out. Exhale, back in, activating the lower abdominals. One more inhale out. Exhale in. Returning to a pace of breathing that's comfortable. Hands come down. Bring the legs wide so the knees are still bent, but you have the legs out wide, and just take some windshield wipers side to side. Okay, so the knees falling in one direction and then over to the other. Whatever pace feels good for you. No rush here. And then come to stillness, bring the legs together, roll onto your side, make your way up to seated, and then go ahead and move to all fours. Okay, so on all fours, we're going to move back and forth between cow and then sitting back into a wide leg child's pose. So for cow pose, we drop the belly down, look up. We bring the spine back to neutral, sit back so the toes are together, knees are out wide, so you may need to adjust a little bit, sitting back into child's pose. Okay. Inhale, come back up through cow. Exhale, sit back, wide leg child's pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, child's pose. Hold, breathe for an extra breath here. Come back to all fours. If the knees were a little wide, go ahead and just readjust so that the knees are directly under your hips, hands directly under your shoulders. We're gonna move through a fluid cat-cow here, which I've done in other practices. It's a really good way to really just connect with the fluid nature and tune into how your body needs to move. Okay, so there's no rules. So you can move around in circles. You can make those circles nice and small. You could come all the way back through a kind of child's pose and come around, making the circles bigger. No rules. Go ahead and move intuitively now. You could move just side to side. And I suggest closing your eyes and just trying to tune into what feels good for you and your body. If you are doing circles, it is nice to make sure you do go in both directions. Tapping into your fluid nature. Go ahead and finish up maybe your last bit of movement here. Meet me in cow for an extra breath. And then bring the spine to neutral, tuck the toes underneath you, send the hips back to your downward dog. So in your downward dog here, I also want us to tap into our fluid nature and just moving how we need to move. So maybe you just want to do a traditional working one heel to the ground and the other. Maybe you want to shift the hips side to side. What do you need here? It's probably not going to be as much movement as in the cat-cow, but I kind of want you to think like there's no rules right here. We don't have to have our downward dog in this perfect position. Just how does our body want to move? And then everyone come to stillness in down dog. Take one breath. And step the right foot forward between your hands into runner's lunge. Holding runner's lunge, back knee is straight, spine is straight on your fingertips. Take a breath. Drop the back knee down, untuck your back toes, lift up, low lunge. So in low lunge here, this is your choice. Like I said, we're tapping into what feels good for us. Do you want to stay higher in your low lunge, or do you feel like you want to sink down further today? Really just connecting with your body and trying to listen to your body when it tells you what it needs. Take one more breath. Hands come down. Bring them to the inner portion of the right leg. Heel toe the right leg out, or the right foot out, and come into your lizard pose. So lizard, the right heel is in a little, right toes out, hands down, and you just sink into the hips keeping the spine nice and straight. You can use blocks as well. I should have had my blocks near me. So you could also be up on blocks if that feels better for you. Breathe. If you like to come down to the elbows, that's an option as well. The goal is really just to work on keeping the spine straight. So length from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Stay connected with the breath. If you were on the elbows, come up to the palms. Heel toe the right foot to the center line. Tuck under your back toes. Send yourself back to your downward dog. Take a breath. Left foot steps forward, runner's lunge. Breathe. Drop the back knee down. Untuck your back toes, lift up to your low lunge. Again, what do you need today? Do you want to be in a higher low lunge and just dropping the tailbone down? Or do you want to just sink down today? What feels good for your body, for your hips? One more breath. Hands come down to the inner portion of the left foot, heel toe the left foot out, lizard. Option to be up on blocks, option to drop to the elbows. And just noticing the fluid nature of the breath, the fluid nature of the inhales and exhales. And in lizard, just letting go. Letting go of any tension in the hips, any tension throughout the body. If you're on the elbows, come back up to the palms. Bring the left foot back to the center line. Step back, downward dog. Take a breath. Moving through the same sequence, I'm going to offer you a few more variations, but you could always stay with what we just did. So, right foot steps forward. Runner's lunge, one breath. Drop back knee down, untuck toes, lift up, low lunge, Anjani Asana. This time option to either place the hands, so interlace the fingers, hands placed on the right thigh and pressing back this way to get a little extra back bend, or arms can reach up and you can start to lean back if that feels good. More breath. Hands come down to the inner portion of the right leg, moving to your lizard pose. So feel free to take any of the variations we already did, or option to ground into the left hand, bend the right knee, reach the right arm around, and hold the back foot. Breathe here. One more breath. Release that. Bring the right foot back in. Step back to down dog. Left foot steps forward, runner's lunge. One breath. Back knee drops. Untuck back toes. Lift up Anjani Asana. Options here to either interlace the fingers, place the hands on left thigh, press through the thigh to give you a little mini back bend, or arms reach up and allowing yourself to bend back. Breathe. Come back down, lizard, hands to the inner portion of left foot. Option to stay with any variations of lizard, or ground the right hand down, bend the back knee, reach the left arm around, holding onto the back foot, and breathing here. One more breath. Release the foot. Bring the left foot back into the center line. Step back, down dog. Breathe in down dog. Really think about allowing the sit bones to kind of spread apart, allowing the glutes to relax. One more breath. Right foot steps forward. Drop the back knee down. Straighten the front knee, coming into half split. So options here. You can either just sit up nice and tall, and if you have trouble straightening the knee or keeping the spine straight, then keep the knee bent. So if you're feeling like you have to round the spine to try to keep the leg straight, then just bend the knee. If you can lean forward, option to find a fluid spine here. So just moving through like kind of cat-cows in your forward fold. So inhale, rounding, exhale, folding. One more breath. Come back to a low lunge, tuck under back toes, step back to your downward dog. One breath here. Left foot steps forward, drop the back knee down, come back to half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. Either stay lifted again, right? So if the spine needs to round to keep this knee straight, then you just need to bend the knee and work here into your balance, into the hamstring by working to start to straighten the leg, or you could find that fluid motion through the spine. One more breath. Come back to low lunge. Tuck under your back toes. Step back to your downward dog. One breath. Allowing the sit bones to relax. Drop to the knees and come forward onto your stomach. You can either prop up into Sphinx onto the elbows, or place the hands under the shoulders, press the arms straight, come up into a cobra, breathe, keeping the lower body relaxed, shoulders down away from your ears, lower yourself back down. Option to either come up to Sphinx, come up through traditional cobra again, or take a fluid cobra. So just kind of moving your shoulders as you come up, rolling the shoulders back, finding length at the top, and lower yourself back down. Press back to all fours. Moving to pigeon, slide the right foot forward, the right knee forward. So the right knee slides in, scoot the left leg back into a single leg pigeon. So I did say you only need the block for a beginning pose, but maybe you want to block in pigeon. You can always place a block underneath your pelvis if that feels better to lift yourself up a little bit. Okay? In your pigeon, you can either have the foot more tucked, how you see here, or you could bring it into more of this kind of right angle or a 90-degree angle of the knee. Do what feels good for you, and it could be different side to side. So for me, on the right side, it feels better to have the knee more bent, and on the left, I can open into the hip more. So just know that it may be different side to side. And breathe, either staying up high or allowing yourself to relax down. Really breathe into the hip space, trying to let go of any tension in the hip. Noticing any shifts in the mind, the body as you hold pigeon pose. One more breath. If you were forward, come back up, take a moment lifted in pigeon, so just finding some length in the spine, and then slide that leg back to all fours, switching sides. Left leg comes forward into your pigeon. Again, option for that block, putting the block under the pelvis might feel better for you here. So option to either stay up high or to start to fold forward. Honoring what feels good for you and your body. Breathing into the left outer hip. One more breath. If you are forward, come back up, just finding length again. And then slide that leg back to all fours. Moving through cow pose, drop the belly down, look up. Come back through neutral spine, cross the feet behind you. Sitting down and then making your way to lay on your back. Taking a happy baby, you can either hold on to the inner ankles, knees come out to the sides, or you could hold on to the outer edges of the feet and feet come up to the ceiling or the sky. Okay, your choice. Either way, you want to make sure the whole spine stays on the ground. So that includes the sacrum, the lower back. So if that's lifting up to do a full happy baby, then do that first version of happy baby. Breathe. Letting go of any tension through the pelvic floor. One more breath. Release the legs down. Place the feet down, hands down. Lift up to a mini bridge. And then lower back down. Moving to our Shavasana. So option to take traditional Shavasana with the legs out, to do the bound angle pose with the blocks like we did in the beginning, or to do bound angle without the blocks. Your choice. Whatever variation you're deciding to take, everyone place the hands on the lower abdomen. Close your eyes. Connect with the breath. Maybe tuck the shoulders under and then relax back down to make sure the heart's staying nice and open. And just breathe here. Noticing that even in times of stillness, that there's still flow. Everything's always flowing. So even as we lay here in Shavasana or bound angle, the breath is fluid. The breath is flowing in and out of us. Then we lean into the fluid nature of life. Find beauty in the flow and the change. And take a few more moments here, staying connected with the fluid nature of our breath. So bring your awareness back to the physical body, releasing the hands down at your sides. If you're in bound angle, you can use the hands to guide your legs out of this pose, bringing them back up, and then straightening them out. Arms reach overhead, find length through the entire body. Bending through the knees, rolling onto one side, keeping the bottom arm straight out to rest the head on that arm. Use your hands to walk yourself back up into a seated position. Hands in prayer at your heart. Reminding yourself of your intention that you set in the beginning of practice. And we'll seal our practice with one breath together. A nice deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Return to your comfortable breath. Hands release, eyes blink open. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. Thank you guys for practicing with me today. Again, if you want to learn more about the energy of the sacral chakra and ways you can work on this energy besides yoga, check out the video in the description down below. I'm also going through the chakras in a series, so I already have root chakra videos up, an educational video, and a yoga flow, and next up will be the solar plexus. So I hope these videos are really helping you deepen your connection with your energy and really noticing the connection of your energy to your mind and body. So that's all from me for today. If you guys are not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button right below me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.